But Fallout, I watched the whole thing, and because like I saw it came across my feed on Twitter and whatnot, like a pretty equal mix.
And you're like, I have 8.5 hours.
Yeah, I've had 8.5. I watched it over the past week or so, and so it was. I didn't like guzzle through it, but I saw a lot of people online being like, oh, this isn't Fallout, or other people saying like this is the best adaptation of all time, and it was freeing as someone who has so little knowledge or intuition, and I don't know anything about the Fallout universe. Just watching it as someone and just being like, I guess whatever this is the lore.
I want 15 seconds before I hand off the floor. I've never played Fallout. I don't know the lore, and I really enjoyed the show. So if anyone out there is in that position, there's my take.
Yeah, it was mostly.
I played Fallout from Fallout 3 onwards. I didn't play the first two. I dabbled after, but I just didn't have the patience for it. Fallout 3 onwards, I thought the show was so good. Leading up to the show, I saw a clip, and it was very just like shitty Disney vibes. It was the Vault Dweller, and she had this thing where she was like, I'm going to assume you're the aggressor. And according to that, and it just felt like TikTok-y, it felt like Disney humor. And I was like, oh, I don't want this.
Yeah, that was a bad
But then
scene.
when I watched the show, I started watching the show, and right when that raider like wipes his dick after having sex with the main character, and there's weird dark jokes and gore, and just how crazy the the ode to the VATS system, which is the slow aiming where heads blow up and stuff. Now that part that I thought was weird and bad ended up playing in nicely, because Fallout, every game basically has this trope where you start as a vault dweller, except for New Vegas, and you leave the vault and you've lived a coddled life, and now you get out there and people are eating each other and there's ghouls and it's crazy. And the show was good at that. I thought it was so good. And I actually think it might be one of my favorite video game adaptations ever, because like I loved, like there's two types of adaptations basically. There's Last of Us, which I loved. And then there's Halo, the series, which started off, decisions were made. I didn't back it, but where it is now, it's fun. It's a fun show. Halo season 2 was very fun. Not my Halo, whatever. But then there's these two ends. You have Last of Us, where if you've played the game, you don't need to watch the show. It's identical. Identical. And then you have Halo, where it's like, you play the game, you might not want to watch the show because it's going to do some crazy shit. But then you have Fallout, where there's no main character because you make that person. So there's no attachment to a specific thing quite like there is to the vibe of it and all that. And I thought it was perfect. Like the universe they nailed it. I love that they put money into it, and they meant it. I found it funny. And I watched one episode, and then I watched the rest of it like the next day and a half. I did sit down and watch like 3.5 hours of Fallout twice. And it was easy.
I know I'm coming from a place of low information, but I think it's kind of neat that they made a new storyline, a new show, obeying the Fallout universe's rules mostly, instead of just retelling the game you saw.
But that's the beauty of Fallout. Also, like the benefit is like, you're going to tell a Fallout 3 show? Okay, use my character. Like this random dude who literally wore a ghoul mask the entire time and ate dead bodies to lower his karma to crazy levels, who lived in Tenpenny Tower and killed everyone inside and let the ghouls there, who whacks off at the top of Tenpenny Tower with a ghoul mask on. Like,
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. It's just, but I did like how like they like just the character that she like had that weird like thing with her cousin, and he was like, you want to make my cock explode? All these things could have been so bad if I saw them as a clip, but in the context of the show, it was fun and funny.
Dude, I love the cock explode thing. Kyle, I'm sorry. Let me let you talk.
No, go ahead.
Oh, so there's this one character who comes from a place of like sex education, and sex is somewhat recreational and such. And then there's another character who doesn't even know how his body works. He says his dick gets hard like a pimple and then pops. Like he's just out of it. And she's like, you want to bang? And he's like, oh, like, I don't think the guy even kisses. And it was kind of neat to see these two backgrounds meet in the show. And that's all.
And it's also, everything's like the I always thought the games about Fallout, the best parts about it were kind of, exploring in a weird way American values and things that were important to America and the ideal aspect of America, and then the reality of America, and all of it kind of being shifted around and played with the bomb. And you meet different people, different factions. Oh, the ghouls are bad, and then you meet ghouls that aren't feral, and they could be people. And it was like that. And they always had these, like, there are people in America where sex isn't a big deal at all, and you learn it in sex and then there are people where, like, they grew up and it is not discussed at all. That's like a fucking thing you don't talk about. And then having this encounter, it's this exaggerated play on. I always thought, I just felt like the writing was great, everything was great, and it walked a line, because before I saw it I had no hope. And maybe I'm hyping it up to the people listening too much. I didn't go in with high hopes. I was kind of like, oh, this is gonna be so dumb, isn't it?
Yeah.
That was fucking
great.
I
thought the same. I was afraid they were going to ruin another franchise the way the Halo thing just really didn't appeal to me. Maybe the first episode of Halo, I liked a ton. Like, I loved that it had the sound effects and the feel and the look. And then Master Chief, like, takes his helmet off and becomes a rebel. Then he takes his pants off.
He fucks a Covenant
and then
human.
He fucks.
What?
And then I'm like, all right, bro. I Master Chief is hanging dong. That is not the Master Chief I know. Okay, he hasn't even pulled that cod piece off and watered the fucking garden with Cortana's sexy ass in his head all the time. He's certainly not gonna bang some like, half traitor like monster messiah thing or whatever. So that upset me. So the Fallout thing, I came in with low expectations. I watched none of the trailers. And I agree with everything you said. Like you nailed it. The Last of Us thing is a story. It's a very on the rails narrative. So it's easy to adapt and give people what they want, as long as you don't change too many things or cast poorly. But Fallout is a make your own story kind of thing. So I'm sure you and I both played New Vegas. Who won in your playthrough? You know, who did you side with?
I've played
it's always different.
Dozens of hours of every Fallout game.
Yeah.
I never beat a single one.
Oh, no.
It is the most sidetracked fucking game of all time. Like, when I told you about my Fallout 3 character, that's where I stopped. Living in Tenpenny Tower, wearing a ghoul mask, eating people's bodies. That's where my game ended.
When you play games,
going to find my dad never mattered anymore.
If I played Fallout, I would try to minimize the number of steps my character took.
I do that now. Now I'm like, if I want to beat this, like, I can't get sidetracked, because I was always a completionist at heart, and I just don't have the time anymore. Like, I can't. But back then, like, I never. Fallout 4, also a ton of hours. Fallout New Vegas, a ton of hours. Never beat them.
I don't know if it's too early to change the topic, but there are 7 video game TV shows coming up. I'm kind of excited for some.
Which games? Do you have a list or anything?
Yeah, I do. My wife actually brought it up as a show topic.
Yeah, I'm actually
shout
curious.
out Jackie.
So first one is BioShock. And these are, by the way, like greenlit. These are all.
Who's making them? Do you have that info?
What sucks for BioShock is my hopes are high now because of Fallout.
Yeah,
like, and I hold those games like very high in my mind. So
BioShock is top tier of video game stories as well. Like, it's very good.
So Netflix confirmed BioShock, so I know that one.
Okay,
another one coming up, Gears of War. Netflix confirmed that one too, and it's officially in development. Another one.
Can we take a second? By the way,
yes, please.
And cast that. Who are you putting as Marcus Phoenix?
John Travolta.
No,
no, that's not. If he was younger,
he's got to be Jack.
Fine.
Why does he have to be Jack? Whoever it is,
Timothy Chalamet is Dom.
Because he's going to take the suit off sometime.
I need an assist. Kyle, do you know the actor who plays Jack Reacher?
I don't know his real name.
But then you know that guy would be interesting in that show.
It's just a head in a CGI suit. They're so big. They're gonna be in a suit. They're gonna be like an Iron Man.
Reacher could just be a guy, isn't it? He's big enough. That guy.
So you need somebody with a big neck. You need like anybody with a big neck and a big head can play this character, I feel.
Batista. Okay. Yeah,
Batista. Look,
I'm just thinking physically. He's got a big head. He's got a big neck. He's jacked.
He's got that wrinkly head thing, though. It grosses me out.
What's he look like now, though?
My buddy said and it's true. He says he always looks like he's upside down underwater. His face.
Kind of bubbly, yeah. The top of his head is really wrinkly and disgusting. I saw him in that Knives Out Glass Onion movie.
You like that meatball thing he's got going on?
Oh, it's so it looks like a testicle. It looks like a cartoon testicle or
He's
something.
He's just really tan.
BioShock was the first game that I think I played where
that's Pitbull.
You sort of choose your own adventure. If people haven't played BioShock, you're this big, strong guy, Big Daddy, I think is your name, and there are these little girls. And if you
that's BioShock 2, isn't it?
Kyle
it's
knows.
not BioShock 1. There's no little girls in BioShock.
In BioShock but you're a person.
You're a plane crash victim who stumbles upon the light tower, and you swim in, and then you make contact with a character who's like, come on down, mate. You
do have the sister thing in BioShock 1. You choose to harvest them or not, right? You choose to harvest them.
That's where I was headed to. If you harvest them, your character gets a little stronger from it. But if you don't harvest them, then they become kind of allies, and there's pros and cons to each. I wonder how the show will go.
Yeah. Oh, they won't. Yeah, okay.
They better not harvest a single little sister in the show.
That won't be.
That guy better not.
They're not going to.
Anyone who harvested the little sisters was fucked up.
Yeah, they're not going to harvest any little sisters. That won't be a repetitive. They'll probably drop that repetitive game mechanic, but
they're going to do
just a cool
their
story.
whole story.
The ending is great. The ending,
but that's the thing. You think they're going to do a Last of Us scene for scene? What I want from it, I don't know if it would do the game, but what I want and all I need is I want before the Rapture, when BioShock was thriving, and I want that for pacing to be like countercut with what's going on now after, because just like
Fallout.
Because exactly, I want a lot of that before stuff, but I don't want to wait through 5 episodes to get to the last 5 where now it's BioShock. You know, I want them. I'm just happy I don't have to write that shit.
I agree. That works really well for something like this. That's essentially post-apocalyptic. You know, BioShock is its own kind of little apocalypse they've had down there. That'll be good. And Gears of War
was the next one.
I don't even know what the story in Gears of War is.
The Resonator.
There's locusts, and they're the monsters.
Yeah, there's monsters underground who come up and sort of cause an apocalypse, and they've used weapons of mass destruction against them and further destroyed the world. And there's a big twist ending about where the monsters actually came from, the Lambents or whatever. And it's probably all a big allegory for oil, like most video games are. But all that matters is you've got like 3 badass dudes fighting monsters, really 2. You know, but I would want the full cast. You'd want that. Who's the blonde guy? I want him in there.
I want you know who?
Coltrane, baby.
Coltrane, Bob Sapp. I've cast him.
Bob Sapp can't fucking act, Woody.
But he's big.
Cool.
You know who plays Barrett, eh? John Cena. He's so funny. He's the funniest. Did you guys see Ricky Stenicki?
Actors right now.
Ricky Stenicki on Amazon Prime actually cracked me up. I have not seen him. I've not watched it's a movie, and I haven't watched like a 90-minute movie that makes me laugh 6 times.
Can you say the
decades?
Name again?
Ricky Stenicki.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a good one. And John Bernthal as Dom.
Ricky. Okay.
No.
Dude, the next one, Borderlands.
I don't know how they're gonna do.
Why'd you thumb that down, though? By the way, why'd you thumb that?
I just don't like it.
I thought they were doing a movie. Weren't they doing a movie?
Let me look more slowly.
Yeah,
but I don't like Borderlands.
It is a
story is weird. It was like great at the time, and now you look back and you're like, this is like.
You know what? Borderlands got really lucky, I think. Here's what happened. That game dropped at a time when World of War was just never as popular as COD 4. COD 4 was almost 2 years old, and at least my entire universe was kind of getting a little tired of COD 4, call it like August or something. Borderlands drops before Modern Warfare 2, and there was this opening. It wasn't originally cell shaded. It just looked like a shitty game. And they did that cell shading thing, which no one had done before. And all of a sudden, graphics, it was like, you can't grade them on graphics. They weren't really trying. It was just a different thing. Yeah. And that Ain't No Rest for the Wicked sign, the opening, never heard a more perfect fit to get me like hyped for a video game like that. And somehow, and it worked on me, like a 6 or 7 out of 10 game became known as a 10 out of 10 when it really wasn't. But I liked Borderlands 1, I think, more than the rest of us.
Yeah, Borderlands 1 and Borderlands 2 were both awesome games. I had a ton of fun playing them, but even like as I was playing them, like I didn't find the attempts at humor weren't what kept me going in Borderlands. It was the random guns with fun and unique abilities that would just spawn, where it'd be like, oh, this one just like shoots chain lightning and it doesn't run out of ammo.
Borderlands 3 had like
YouTubers
or something, like YouTube.
Borderlands 3 dropped the ball. I played a little bit of that and was like, this kind of
did you play all of them or just the one with me?
I don't remember. I really don't. I remember I played the one with you, and I think I played 3 with Harley. Maybe I don't know which one we played together, but
Taylor played.
Yeah, we played briefly, and Kyle was like, "I'm not playing this."
Dude, Kyle
it was upsetting.
Endured Borderlands for me as a gift. Thank you. And even I, like the hype guy who dragged us to play that game together, by the time it was over, I was like, I'm sorry, I thought it would be better.
Sometimes you show somebody a YouTube video and you're like, dude, come on. And you're just looking at him, waiting on him to laugh once, and you're just like, shit.
You had to be there stoned.
You didn't even chuckle. You're just a polite smile the whole way through.
We'll see what Borderlands drops. The next one, I don't know. Maybe you do. Until Dawn, an interactive horror game.
I haven't heard of that.
It's a game that plays like Detroit Become Human, which if you've never played is so good.
Oh,
or Beyond Two Souls. It's the games where like it is a movie. You walk around, Jason, Heavy Rain. You never played Heavy Rain?
That's not my style.
It's it's like a point and click mixed with quick time events mixed with.
Was Heavy Rain just PlayStation?
PS4, I think, or PS3 even.
Yeah.
But the Until Dawn's fine. It's just going to be a horror movie. The game is just a horror movie, so I'm not excited about that.
So the next one, I also don't know this one. Horizon 2047. It's from the Horizon Zero Dawn franchise.
That's cool and very interesting. That's the game where you're a girl and you're like, it's thousands of years after the collapse of humanity. We're trying to build it up again on Earth, except there's robotic dinosaurs everywhere. What's going on? What happened? You uncover it. There's an interesting story behind it. So the name of this one sounds like it's the before thing, kind of like what I wanted with BioShock. And I'm making this all up in my head based on the title. That sounds interesting to me.
That one's Netflix, pretty by the way.
It's fun. That game already feels like a CW
I don't
show.
like that these are all Netflix.
I don't like Netflix. Netflix isn't going to do a good job.
Okay.
Well, you know what? I thought the League of Legends show was very good for a person who does not watch League of Legends at all. And Castlevania, but they're not real people.
I didn't know they made a show for League of Legends.
Where did we just watch?
Arcane, I think it's called. It's
Fallout.
Great.
Was Fallout?
Prime.
Oh, you're right. So the next one's Alan
HBO
Wake.
Did Last of Us. It's good.
There's 2 more. Alan Wake. AMC.
When I play a game that's exactly like a movie on so many levels, but it has this aspect of a game that makes it extra interesting, I can't get excited for the show really. Like Alan Wake, like I love that game, but I'm not like, oh, I want to watch the show. The game's like a show, except you could play it also. Like BioShock, that I'm like, how are you going to translate Rapture to a TV show? That's interesting. Or Fallout, it's interesting to see some of these come to life being inside a vault.
Fallout's a series where Fallout is more of a setting than a story.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it lends itself to infinite seasons and spin-offs. You could, if it keeps doing well, 5 years from now there will be like Fallout Atlanta, Fallout.
Or you can do Fallout same place 300 years after. Like there's so many.
You just bounce around the timeline too. This is like 15 or 20 years after 4, I think. I saw a timeline somewhere, and then Todd Howard had some statements on the timeline today. I think on Twitter.
Statements.
What was he talking about? He didn't like the show.
Well, he created it.
I thought he created the game.
He did that too.
Oh,
he would never tell you he didn't like something about something he created. By the way.
He's one of those guys with the tiny futuristic microphone who stands on stage and goes, Fallout. It just works. And he has those big, he's
a shirt tucked into jeans.
Probably.
Yeah, but definitely brown leather jacket on top of it.
But he sort of clarified the timeline a little bit, because I think when some people saw there's a chalkboard at one point that Goosey is looking at, and some people misunderstood the chalkboard of the timeline, because it says like Shady Sands and then an arrow to a nuclear explosion, and I don't know. I think some people online were misreading it and then thinking they had broken lore. They did break lore a little bit here and there.
Shady Sands in the game?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
Okay.
It almost certainly
is. You think it is? All right. Was it last game? Huge, but I've never played it. God of War.
That'd be fun.
Ooh, who's making it?
Oh, stand by. Amazon Prime.
Oh, who's going to play Kratos? I want Jason Statham.
Timothy Chalamet.
Ooh.
Jason Statham isn't jacked enough.
He could be.
He could be. You're trying to drag me into.
Yeah, they don't have any.
Sound like you want Kratos to sound like Elvis at all? Because
what about
Austin
the guy
Butler
who played?
Would be great.
Remember the guy who played Ragnar in Vikings? Like that guy looks like him.
Mm.
He's a little old now. Though,
Okay, that's actually pretty.
How about that UFC fighter from UFC 300 with the red shorts, the Viking dude? Oh, with the samurai dude.
Oh, Yuri
Honestly, I think Kratos should be black.
No,
you're painting him white.
How woke of you?
Nah, he's got to be Greek, and he's got to have a tenuous grasp of English.
I'm actually with you on this. I think
he's got to be fully Greek.
I think you're right. I think Kratos should. Well, he's voiced by that big, giant, blackish colored man. I don't know what
Darth
he is.
Vader. It.
Darth Vader. Wait, what do you want to do here? You want to use a black voice on a white man?
That's what they did. Wait.
It is. You're correct.
That's what they did to Darth Vader.
Darth Vadering it. I'm just clarifying. All right. So Jason Statham, but with Jamie Foxx's voice.
Yeah, what about Morgan Freeman's voice?
No, get that. I don't know if you guys saw Halo season 2.
He is a guy.
The gay blind Spartan. The gay blind Spartan. He's like albino black guy. Just that type of vibe would be great. Like a white black man.
A
black man with white skin. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, an albino black man. An African albino.
Yeah. They're tough to come by.
Pink eyes.
Yeah, we also need it to be an actor and very jacked.
It has to be jacked. Has to be an actor. It has to be a black albino African who's Greek.
Maybe we can.
They shouldn't let us cast this.
Can you infect someone with that?
We'd all be starring.
No, I'm Kratos.
Whoever it is, they're going to have makeup on. They have to have makeup on for the most of it because
it can't be a black guy then because I will not abide white face. My culture is not a costume.
Kratos' kid in it? Because I just think it's hilarious to cast Taylor as like a 9-year-old.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Just a giant 9-year-old. BO.
Yeah.
No, that's like video game adaptations are weird, right? Because you want to maintain your installed audience. You don't want to piss them off because the property is clearly not going to be big enough just to make new Halo fans. I don't know how Halo's staying on the air. They say it got good ratings, and I heard
it's great. It was so much fun, so much better, dude. But I listen. This is actually a great thing that's happened for me. I invested so much emotionally. Exactly. I invested so much emotionally into Star Wars, and I do love Star Wars, and I'll always love Star Wars, but I was so caught up that when the new trilogy came out, had the new trilogy hit, I would probably be a Star Wars YouTuber today. That's how much it was. Like it was, and I put so much, and then decisions that were made by people that didn't care as much as I did resulted in me having these scars that still haven't quite healed. So I'm never again going to put my emotion into other people's hands for decisions that they'll make ever again. Now, the down part is my hype ceiling will never reach as high as it was episode 7, 8, 9 and all that. I'll never get excited anymore like I once did, but I'll never be annoyed when they do shit now. So if they're like, oh, they're making they're doing a Ninja Turtles, Power Rangers, but except the Ninja Turtles wear the Power Ranger suits and all the Power Rangers are gay Jews. I'd be like, whatever, let them take a crack at it. I'm not mad. I'm not like, oh, I'm not protective of my shit anymore. Do whatever you want. And once I let go of that, and I'll tell you, for me and Halo, this shit, I read all the books. I loved Halo. Halo took up like 30% of my personality for 8 years. So it was like my number one video game franchise. But because I went through the shit with Star Wars, by the time Halo came around, I put it on. I was like, watch this. He's going to have his fucking helmet off, wearing a turtleneck, fighting at some point. Come episode 2, I was like, holy shit, I didn't think it was going to happen that fast, but there he is, fucking a Covenant human. What is happening? If it were the old days, I'd be furious at this, but now when decisions made are bad decisions, that's a laugh for me. Now I laugh at that moment, and when I put that aside, now I watch Halo Season 2, some things happen. I'm like, yeah, that's weird. Or I'll look back at something from season 1 that they have to continue doing. I'm like, yeah, that was dumb. But the action's great. These scenes are fun.
If they want to succeed in like the video game world, like or adapting any old IP, like they have to stay somewhat true to it, because like the Lord of the Rings show is a good example. That show flopped. Like it didn't do well.